Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. So today we're going to be doing a full review on the X118 FPV Explorer mini drone. And what this one is basically it's a whole complete package with a controller that has a built-in FPV screen. It's got your 2.4 gigahertz control and your 5.8 gigahertz for video antennas mounted up already on the controller. A whole bunch of controls. The quad itself looks like a mini replica of a Cheerson CX-20, the quite popular Cheerson CX-20, larger 350 size smart drone with GPS. This one doesn't have GPS, but it's kind of a great introduction. It looks to be a great introduction to people who want to maybe try out FPV for not much money. They get a whole complete package. So we're going to be kind of just doing a full review, pros and cons and afterthoughts. We're going to have some flight video. So out of the box, basically you get the craft itself, the X118. What you'll notice is it's got a camera mounted on the bottom. It's got a FPV antenna. Now this is a 5.8 gigahertz transmitting antenna that plugs right into the camera. The board and everything is just all inclusive in here, and it just plugs in directly to the bottom of the craft here. You got your landing gear. What else comes in the box is 2 props and your prop guards. Now I would have liked to seen them include maybe 4 props, and so they kind of cheaped out on that. But of course it looks like one of these props is pretty bent, so that one's not even going to work. So I got basically one good prop in the box for backup. You also get the screwdriver for changing props and stuff. You also get a 850 milliamp battery, LiPo 3.7 volt battery, and you also get the USB charger to charge the battery up. So you also get the instruction manual, which is going to be very important because there's so many features on this controller that you're really going to need to look at this and figure out all the features itself. That's basically it in the box aside from the controller here. Now the controller is a pretty big guy. It's a pretty full featured controller, the most I've seen in any controller yet. So while we're talking about the controller, let's go ahead and talk about some of the features this has. So basically you've got these 2 buttons here. I could only turn off and on the lights with these 2 buttons. And this button here does a flip. So when you do press it once, it does a flip. This button here goes ahead and changes the rates. So it has 1, 2, or 3 modes. Got your trim here. This one supposedly does the audio. There is supposed to be audio that outputs from the craft to the controller, so you can actually hear what's going on the craft. And this should turn up and down the volume here. You've got your power switch, and then you've got your buttons for changing between camera and video and menu OK buttons. It's kind of cool. It's supposed to have a zoom feature where you can actually be in video recording mode, flying it, and you can actually zoom in up to like 4 times. You can also flip it, so you can flip the screen if you want. I don't know why you'd want to do that, but you can flip the screen 180 degrees. And then of course you've got the record button to either take a picture or record your video. And that's basically it for the controller. It's kind of neat. It does have this close up design here where when you're not using it you can just close up the screen to protect the screen, and when you do want to use it, it just pops up real quick here. And then I did have this plug-in on the bottom. I guess if you had the right kind of plug-in charger and you had rechargeable batteries in here, you might be able to charge your rechargeable batteries up just from putting that in. But that kind of plug doesn't come in the package, so I'm not sure where you'd get that. Maybe just a universal plug would work. It does take 6 AA's in the controller. And so let's go ahead and take this guy out, do some flying at the park, put it through its paces, and come back, do a final assessment, pros and cons, and just see what we really thought about this. Yep, that's the range right there. Say about 150, 200 feet. Let's test the return to home. So that's the return to home. Just flies back towards you. And headless. Yeah, so that's headless. Works pretty good. No matter which way I'm rotating, I can go away from me, any direction. Alright, headless working good. Looks like that's our battery. Hey guys, welcome back. So we had some flight time at the park and in the house, and you got to see some video of it flying and me putting it through its paces. And I'm just going to go through some pros and cons now of what I thought about this thing. So initially, pro is it does have that light feature where you can turn off and on the lights. This up here is just basically another light. So if you want to save some battery power, you can just press one of these buttons, which will turn off the lights. It did have good headless mode. These up here. So this is headless mode. This is the return to home mode. So both those modes worked very well as far as the testing I did. Usually these kind of quads, when you do leave from your point of launch, it's just going to come back in your general direction with when you use the return to home. And what I did like about it though is when it was coming back over your head, it's not going to stop basically when you put it in return to home. It's just going to come back towards you and keep going. So when you do push this controller in any direction, it will cancel that mode. So that's nice. It won't just keep going. You don't have to press any buttons. You just basically hit the pitch or yaw and it will go out of the return to home mode and you can continue flying. It had a decent yaw. The rate 3 was pretty useless. That would be the mode 3. You put it in to basically it just starts flipping when you move the stick in any direction. So I really don't know why you'd want that, but that's a feature I could definitely do without. If you accidentally went into that mode and you're trying to control it, you just can't do anything because it just flips and flips. So that's kind of a con, that flip mode. It did pretty well with the FPV. The screen was pretty clear. The distance, I was able to go across the park and I still had pretty clear FPV. I know you couldn't see it in the video. My hat cam could not pick up the screen at all in the light, but I could see it. So I did have some video in the house where you could see the screen and how it performed, so that gives you an idea. It only allows you to record the video from the controller via this micro SD slot here. And oh yeah, I forgot to mention the card does come in the box with it, so there is a 4 GB micro SD card that comes with this. Control distance, maybe I want to say 200 feet, about around there, until it started losing control. It was just kind of unresponsive once it lost control at that range. Just went into a nice hover and didn't continue any kind of like throttle or direction. So basically, not bad for the FPV. Pretty good. I did initially think that there was you could put another SD card in here to get the actual on-flight, maybe a cleaner video, but that's not the case. This is just an open slot here. I tried to put a card in and I actually dropped inside and I had to pull it out. So there's no card slot in here. It's just an empty opening. Otherwise, the construction seemed pretty soft. It kind of reminded me of the Q7 FY326 quad, how it has that soft plastic, which is good in a way because it's not brittle. It's not going to crack when it falls. It's just going to kind of bend and bend back. So I like that feature of it, the nice soft plastic. As far as the sound went, the sound was a little irritating, and I was trying to turn it down because you're just hearing the prop noise, and the wind is basically all you can hear. And it would have been a nice feature if I could actually turn it down or turn it off, but it was just kind of blasting and I had no control over the volume of it. So that's kind of a con. Maybe I might open the controller up and see if maybe there's a wire disconnected for the sound, but I had no luck turning the sound down, which got kind of irritating fast. And as far as flight time went, looked to be flying about maybe 5 to 6 minutes. I didn't really get a good test on the actual flight time this time with this one, but being that it is FPV and you are transmitting the video, if you turn the lights off, you're definitely going to get maybe a minute more flight time. But I'd say about 5 to 6 minutes with the video transmission going. Of course, the screen is only going to use the power within the transmitter, but this little guy here, I don't know how many milliwatt it is, but it seemed to go up across the park okay. It seemed to have clean video as far as the range, the control range was. So 5 to 6 minutes on a little mini like this isn't too bad, being that it is transmitting and using power for the FPV. Anyway guys, this is a review unit from gearbest.com, and I'll have the links in the description if you would like to check this out. I'd say it's a great initial starter into the kind of FPV realm. It had a few problems, but for the money, I think it's an all-inclusive kit, and it might be good for a kid or even an adult to kind of get started in FPV, just to see, not spend too much money, and see if they even like it and if they can do it. But anyway, links in the description of where you can get this, and I hope this review was helpful for you to see if you wanted to check this out. More videos to come. Please like, subscribe, and comment, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.